Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's September 18, 1:56 a.m. We are in Sarnia, Ontario. Just taking a little drive to introduce you to Sarnia. We got special guest, Youngblood.
That's me, the special guest over here.
Special guest. We are special guest hosting. We're just going to show you what it's like in Sarnia, Ontario at the end of summer and the beginning of autumn. You'll see what traffic's like, and you'll get a general introduction into the life and times of the thriving metropolis of Sarnia. We're still in my car.
Okay, well,
Say goodbye to Youngblood.
See you guys later, and enjoy your tour of Sarnia, Ontario.
Right on. Well, that was brief. I gotta tell you, folks, I've been really busy. Really busy. In my other videos, going back to July 19, I think, we were driving through the United States of America. And we were on our way to find new work. Not as a trucker, but as a fireproofer. And we've been doing that ever since. It's been a wonderful, fun-filled, fantastic experience with many adventures, some of which I could have done without. Some stories about my adventures here I probably you wouldn't want to hear, but I've been meaning to take you around town here for a while. Sarnia, Ontario is located right next to the United States of America, Port Huron. We are very close to one of the Great Lakes of Ontario. The average temperature for the winter here is minus 10 degrees Celsius, so it doesn't get very cold. Minus 10 is cold, but it's not bad. I've been looking for a ghetto in Sarnia. I haven't found it yet. What qualifies as ghetto? I'm going to take you to it right now. But you'll see very quickly there is no ghetto here. There's a very small population of mental health issues and addiction, but it's barely noticeable. In Sarnia, Ontario, you're 15 minutes away from everything. The entire city of Sarnia is about the size of my entire neighborhood in Winnipeg. We almost never hear any police sirens. It's very rare. Once a week, maybe twice. And it's probably an ambulance. The average age of the population in Sarnia is about 50, 51-ish, 52. There are very few youth. You almost don't even see them. People slow down for the squirrels in this town. We're not allowed to hit them for some reason. We're allowed to speed past the school zone for some reason. I even stopped for a kid who was trying to cross a crosswalk at a school zone, and they just went around me and just about hit that kid. But that's what they do here. That's Sarnia. I'm not sure why, but squirrels do take precedent. So this is kind of part of the older neighborhood, meaning the houses are older and see, that's a red maple tree. We don't have those in my province. I don't even think we have maple trees. This is about as ghetto as it gets, I think. Here you'll find probably homeless people, or they have less than a home. I think I was going down the wrong way, down a one-way. But it's okay. They don't tend to enforce traffic laws here. That's another thing. Come Friday night, you know damn well there's lots and lots of drunk drivers. But they never get pulled over. They never get nailed for drunk driving. And if they are pulled over, you might get asked, are you able to drive home? And if you say yes, then you're good to go. It's almost what it's like. I've never seen it enforced. I haven't even seen any sort of traffic enforcement. I've never seen anybody get pulled over. See, there's a room for rent there for $95 a week. But are you going to be able to sleep? Will your neighbors in the other rooms, it's a rooming house, are they going to be respectful? Is the lock on your door going to be strong enough to keep them out? Can I turn left here? This is something weird about this town. See how I have to go way over to the right? Usually we have to go into the immediate left lane, but there is no immediate left lane. So I've been tricked a few times. This apartment building looks fancy, but there are very desperate people who are renting from this place. I don't know what the vacancy rate is like. In Sarnia, it seems like it's not too bad to find a place to live. Rent is expensive. We're somewhere downtown now. It's Sunday, so traffic should be, you know, pretty calm. I did drink over there at the Bad Dog. It's very nice in there. We got hammered. That's the river. I'm gonna go in there. I think I can go in there a little bit closer. So we probably can't go any further than that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to later on at some point take a walk in there, but you've probably seen a river front before. It's very nice. People are jogging, they're cycling, they're rollerblading and skateboarding. People are walking their dogs. I drank in that little pub. It's pretty nice. They have live bands in there. This is the downtown area, so you're gonna find a couple of bars, a couple of pubs, and it's really not that big. It's not that big of a stretch. You could walk it, and if it's Friday or Saturday night, you could stagger it. No exit here, it says. There it is. I think that's Port Hope across the way, United States of America. I guess the fishing's all right here because I've seen people fishing. I'm going to take you down to the famous Riverport Tavern where they have strippers, exotic dancers, strippers, peelers, whatever. You know what I mean? It's written right there, adult entertainment. And the reason why this place is so busy on Friday and Saturday is because most of the pubs and bars around town close at about 10:30 at night. And there does seem to be a high proportion of bars in Sarnia, but they close. Their hours are based on whether or not they have customers. If at 11 o'clock there's no customers, they just shut it down. And because there's not very many young people, there's not very many customers, the older folks, they don't tend to hang out late. Although at that pub downtown I just showed you, lots of older people are there. Right till closing. So most people come here to the Riverport Tavern, adult entertainment. Because it serves late. It's pretty well the only bar that serves late, right till closing, 2 o'clock in the morning. There's some elderly folk over to the left that you just saw. That's pretty representative of the population here in Sarnia. Not sure why, but some people speculate that it's a lack of jobs. There are a lot of sites, we call them petrochemical plants or refineries. They're all around Sarnia. I think there's about 9 or 12. I don't even know. I'm just guessing off of the last time I looked at Google Maps. But if you're able to work at those, as a pipe fitter or an insulator or a painter or a laborer, you've got work on and off all year round, because there are so many sites and they need to be maintained. The problem is you need to have some experience, and young people can't seem to get that. So we're having an aging population that has the experience, and pretty soon nobody's going to be able to maintain these petrochemical plants as well as they could be, I guess. But still, there's a lot of money, because the opportunities here for these folks. Off to the right we have Royal Canadian Legion Branch 62. So there's a lot of money floating around, and you can see it in the vehicles. Most of these vehicles aren't new. This is all riverfront property here. At least here we can, it's literally my car. Yes, you can hear my struts. I need new struts, or at least a ball joint. There she goes, she's pulling away. There's a couple of yachts over there. No big. we are told that this is a good town to retire. And I think that's another reason why we have an aging population here in Sarnia. You can read about all this stuff in Wikipedia too. Those flags are all at half-mast over the death of the Queen. It's quite beautiful here. Especially for an autumn. This is the most ghetto place in Sarnia, right here. 7-Eleven. For some reason, people are drawn to this location, and it's usually the poor and the dispossessed. The word that they use for that location is sketchy. They call it the sketchiest place in town. There's some young people. It's a rarity to see them. One of the things about Sarnia is that there's a very low crime rate. So you can walk around in this town late at night and you probably won't get harassed. You probably won't get mugged, attacked. The worst harassment that I've experienced is people honk at you when they drive by you. And it's after dark. It's probably young people in a car, because it's really hard to get a taxi in this town. There's only about 10 or 12 taxis apparently. So go ahead and try and get one. It takes hours and hours. You may as well just walk, because it's 15 minutes drive from anywhere in town. So it's going to take you a good half an hour to walk wherever you need to go. We'll go down this road and maybe you'll see some fancier houses. It's just a small neighborhood. There's only about 73,000 people. In Winnipeg, there's 750,000 people, so there's 10 times the population. This neighborhood is really just a small neighborhood. The street we're going down is Older Wealth, so you'll probably see bigger, older buildings. To the left, you might have seen that Union Jack there. This is the hospital. The wait time there is about 4 hours if you're having an emergency. because workers from all over the world, all over the country are coming here to work because they can't seem to find any helpers here. They can't find good help here. So if they want a job done, they have to hire people from other provinces. That's why I'm here. I'm going to take a left here, or pardon me, a right. I've never been down this street, so let's see what's down here. The speed limit here almost everywhere is 50 kilometers an hour. Nobody ever does that. They do 60. Unless you're like me and you do 50. Let's turn down here and see what this looks like. Ooh, it's a really bad road. But this is the neighborhood. This is one of the neighborhoods. One of the residential areas. If there are children here and young people, and if they do go to high school, there must be more high schools than there are children, which means the halls and classrooms must be empty here. That's what I think. I don't know. But if you are a young family living here, I would imagine that it's so peaceful, you wouldn't even have a concept of crime if you grew up here. There would be no concept of it. This is your ideal, most ideal, pleasant city you'd ever want to live. I can't imagine any sort of harassment that would be going on. So you could live in one of these nice houses. The only harassment you get is from traffic. But if you're like a young person, you're trying to walk with your friends, most likely you're just going to run into more friends. That's how peaceful it is here. You see these kids riding bikes? I can almost guarantee that they can put their bike down at the corner store and go inside. They'll come back out an hour later and it'll still be there. So this is an older neighborhood, of course, but as you can see, they're making enough money to maintain their neighborhood well enough. And they're obviously living a pretty peaceful and pleasant lifestyle. Like, I'm pretty sure that guy there isn't hanging his head down because he's down and out. It's probably just, that's one of the things that they do here in town. They sit out in the front porch and they enjoy the day, the air. The air isn't fresh here because it's kind of polluted. See, isn't that pretty? Other than the bathtub that's sitting at the top there, but it's, look at that tree. They have some wonderful trees here. There's a little wee tiny 1-bedroom home here. There's an open house. It's for sale if you want it. I'll pull a Yui so you can take a look at it. Isn't that a nice, picturesque, farm-style country home? Could you live there? Here's the little tiny 1-bedroom you could have. If you want it. Probably the most peaceful place you could ever live, I think. Probably one of the most beautiful places too. There's no mountains or hills, picturesque valleys, there's nothing like that. In Winnipeg, this would be ghetto, but it would be, well, you've seen my videos. This is about as rough as it gets. And probably there's some half-decent, peaceful families living in all of these houses. I don't think anybody's on edge here. For sale. The average house price in this town is very expensive. It's in the hundreds of thousands. You're paying way too much for less house than you'd ever pay for. Or sorry, you just get less house. Way less house. Currently, I'm in the middle of selling this car or trading it in. And the worst that they can say about it is the clutch. There's something wrong with the clutch, which I think they're bullshitting because I never use the clutch. I use it to go into first and that's about it. First and reverse, that's it. For the 5 years that I've owned this car, the car could use an adjustment. I mean, the clutch could use an adjustment. But that's about it. We just came down this road, so we're gonna turn right and carry on. Down London Road. Take a look at these trees. London Road from the point we just turned off and up to this point and maybe a little bit further ahead would be equivalent to Winnipeg's Wellington Crescent, where some of the wealthiest people in Sarnia would be living. But I'm going to go to the new wealth. So the thing to do in this town, if you're a worker coming from out of town, and the townsfolk, they seem to accommodate you. They know that you need a place to live, so they sell their bedrooms and their basements. They rent them out by the week because they know you could get laid off at any time, so they'll charge you by the week. Some places are month to month. These are all the main thoroughfares, by the way. You're most likely not going to experience traffic jams much worse than this. When people come home at 5 o'clock, that's about it. It probably lasts about half an hour. I do believe this road here crossing us is called London Line. Did you see that badass looking dude? He's probably not even a badass dude. You see that a lot here. You see guys with shaved heads, tattoos. Somebody had a spider tattoo on the back of their neck. It looked real mean looking. The problem was he was perfumed. How tough can you be if you're smelling pretty? How badass can you be? I don't think there's a Hells Angels group here. I don't think there's organized crime here. This town is too small. It's a neighborhood, really. The power is in the centralized power source is in the refineries. I don't think they have any use for organized crime here. There's really no need. In fact, the crime rate here is so low. I'm not sure anybody knows where to get blow. I'm not sure anybody has blow in this town. There must be. They've got strippers. There must be an element of underground business. This neighborhood's probably your more find them and grind them. If you can't find them, grind them. This is probably more middle class. But you know what? Probably people moved here in the 80s when prices were reasonable. And they're still here. Can you imagine being a kid playing at a park like that? And you know damn well there's no crime in this town. None. You could just be at ease letting your kids go out and play around and run around. As a parent, some kind of 29th anniversary there, Mom and Dad. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice they do that kind of stuff here? There was a big party right outside the place I'm staying at yesterday. It got loud, but it never at one time ever did it ever get violent. That's one of the first times I've ever slept through a rowdy party peacefully. You can't do that in the north end of Winnipeg. All right, this is Murphy Road. I think I know where we are, sort of. There are some millionaires living over there, that's for sure. Let's see if I can pull around and show you those houses. So I'll do a U-turn over here. And then I'll swing around. And those are the houses I'm talking about. There's a couple of millionaires living over there. I don't know who they are. I don't even care. That's a lot of property. There's that squirrel. There's that high school I'm telling you about. There's about 7 or 9 of them. There was probably a time when they were all full, but I don't think they're all full. Probably a lot of them are closed. And if they're all open, they can't be open entirely. Some of the classrooms had to have been locked up. Had to be. This is Michigan Avenue. There are probably very wealthy people down here too. I am told this is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Sarnia. But they do have a lot of wealth here. If you're a tradesperson, if you're working at one of the petrochemical plants or one of the refineries here, you're doing well. I've actually not been down here before, but we're getting very close to the river that we saw earlier. That's an unmentionable name. We don't even want to mention that name. Oh, look how lovely it is down here. We got massive recreational vehicles. We've got boats. We've got nice neighborhood. You saw that, but that guy left his garage door open. You don't do that in my neighborhood. You don't advertise your goods. But here, you can. There's just no crime. There's no break-enter and theft. There's no assault. Well, it's rare. Gangsters. There are no gangsters. I did see somebody harassing a couple of East Indian girls. It was if I'm going to be a racist, I'd say that he's white and that they were of Asian descent. But I don't believe in race. I think they were well, I don't even know what part of India they come from. I couldn't even guess. But they weren't wearing traditional clothing. In fact, they definitely were not Muslims, because Muslims would wear the traditional clothes. And this guy was walking about 6 or 5 feet away from them, and he just wouldn't leave them alone. And you could tell that they were kind of embarrassed, giggling, and it's because the young girl was probably, she wasn't that young. I mean, these were 20-something-year-old people, but I think he was trying hard to get her name, her phone number. The way he was walking, like they were trying to get away from him, and he was trying to keep up with them. You know what I mean? Well, this is it. This is Sarnia. I'm not even sure if these are really rich people. I have a feeling these are people who would have never had the chance to own homes like this, but because of the work that is available here, they probably seized the opportunity and moved here, decided to move here. Because like me right now, they probably arrived like I did, just coming to work, and then they decided there's so much work here, why don't I just stay? I should work for the Sarnia Chamber of Commerce. I'm literally telling you to move here. But the reality is you could move here. It doesn't necessarily mean the opportunities are there. I think that there was a time when the opportunity was perfect, and a lot of people who didn't have these kinds of opportunities chose to live here, and it worked out well for them. That's what I think. I've been here for 2.5, almost 2 months. I've never seen a place quite like this. I've been to all of the cities. I've been to Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City, Woodstock, New Brunswick. I've been to the Paw, Thompson, Manitoba. I've been to Regina, Saskatoon, Calgary, Edmonton. But I'm talking like, even in that rough neighborhood, but it's much older, it's kind of rough looking. They would call it sketchy here. You could go walking around all over the place in that neighborhood at night. You won't get bothered. Well, this is Sarnia. I hope you like it. I hope you like this place. I do. I don't think I would move here though. The houses are just too expensive. You're not gonna get enough house. Not for $500,000. The houses we were looking at are in the millions. Millions. But the thing about Sarnia is it's got everything. And you're never very far away from anything. I don't know how you could live here and live unhealthy, because you're walking distance from everything. Every small section of this neighborhood will have everything you need. Every shopping venue, everything you could imagine. Like, there's a Shoppers Drug Mart right there. There's always a Tim Hortons nearby. There's always some place to fuel up. Well, one thing I noticed is they don't have enough ice cream shops. And the two that they have will sell you an ice cream for like $7 or $8, and it's not a very good scoop. So those two ice cream shops are making a killing. They got lots of pizza joints, but there is only one place in town here that actually makes pizza. The other places are shit. I shouldn't really say that because I haven't tried the one that I'm told is the most expensive. I'm not going to mention their name because that would be indiscreet. But the best place that I've had pizza, the real kind of pizza, the real Italian made, is Enzo's Pizza in Sarnia. You gotta ask for extra pepperoni, extra sauce, extra cheese, because they got the right kind of cheese too. It's not the shit that the other places are putting on. Two Amigos Bar is one of the most famous bars here. It's where mostly young people come to. I'll go left. That neighborhood we were just in is very, very Donnie Darko-ish. Very 80s, but very peaceful. Did you hear that? That's the sound of a siren. That's 3 sirens so far this week I've heard. The most I've ever heard. Look at this, everybody's frozen stiff. What do we do? What do we do? Oh, it's an ambulance. So like I said, there's a lot of older people here in town, and they seem to be dying of a heart attack every now and then. So mostly you're going to hear sirens of an ambulance going to pick them up, take them to the hospital. Okay, we're going to end off with heading down to the secondary downtown area. It kind of starts over there by the Best Buy. Off to the left, you got McDonald's, Sleep Country, Planet Fitness. Here's your Galaxy Cineplex Theater. Lambton Mall is off to the left. And this is where a lot of the shops are. You don't go downtown for the shops. But you saw, just from where we came from, you could come over here, head over to Marshall's or HomeSense. We got shops off to the right. What a ridiculous sounding vehicle. This is where you would come to if you wanted to. There's Eastside Mario's over there. You want to eat some Swiss Chalet, Starbucks coffee, Harvey's, Home Hardware. And this is about it. This is as good as it gets. One thing about Sarnia, Ontario is it's got everything you need. I can't imagine what else, except that they need more ice cream shops. If you're a potential worker and you're coming to Sarnia at the beginning of May when work starts up, you will never find a place to live. Not at a reasonable price. It's going to be way overpriced. They're going to charge you sometimes $150, $200 a day for a room. And all the rooms are going to be filled up very, very quickly. So if I were you, I would buy a van and live in that. Sometime around July, people start getting laid off slowly, and then rent becomes very reasonable. And I'm not talking about a hotel room. I'm talking about a room in a house that's got 5 rooms, and you're going to share that house with 5 strangers that you don't know. You're going to be paying probably $150, $200 a day. You're gonna see a nice yellow Corvette here. See, look at this place. Right now I'm staying at a place that is renting me a room for $275 a week. So to me that's reasonable. That's almost reasonable. But it's a very nice place. That's what makes it reasonable. And I share it with 2 other guys. And they're pretty reasonable guys. But as soon as I can, I'm going to get a van. I'm going to move into that. This is one of the more humble neighborhoods, but if you're going to buy a house over here, you're looking at hundreds of thousands, 200,000 for a house that really, it's not worth 200,000 unless it's worth it for you to live in a very peaceful, quiet, city that has everything, where you have the peace of mind to be able to allow your young folks to walk around reasonably harassment free, hassle free. I think probably the worst that you're going to put up with here is somebody saying something bad about you. And if you can live with that, then these little houses here for 200,000 and living in peace and tranquility, enjoying life's vicissitudes, then 200,000 is worth it. Because you can be wealthy in more ways than those huge properties that you just saw. You can be at peace here. You can be content. You're always staggering distance from a local pub or bar. Believe you me. Believe you me. I don't even want to take you around anymore, because if I took you to the other ghetto neighborhoods, you've already seen it. You've already seen what it looks like. All right, this is War Chief. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. War Chief out.